Hi, Aries. This is your November astrology reading. Um, sorry. Right as I said November and I started the video, my cat jumped off the bed and came running into the room to hang out with me for a minute. So I was paying attention to that. This is for all Aries signs, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. But I do like to make sure that I always go back through and I state if you're coming to watch the videos for Venus, for the Venus sign, I am not about love. You're not going to find the love reading here. For Venus, for me, no matter what sign it's in, it's always about our sensitivities, whether they're positive or negative, and where our sensitivities are taken emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically. So I don't necessarily see Venus as love. So if you're looking for a love reading, I'm the wrong girl for you. But with that being said, this is for the month of November for all Aries signs. And the first thing that Spirit's saying to me is they're reminding me to pay attention to the fact that Regulus has moved into Virgo. And that's important because that's the heart of the lion. That's the heart of the service. The lion's heart that has service in it. But they're also connecting that with our pursuit of pleasure when I'm coming into Aries. And for some of you, they're saying some of that is going to be coming to noticing some hidden truths, some hidden truths about your own spiritual truth, about your reputation versus your religion versus your honor, your hidden truths within yourself, and where that takes you on your level of service, as well as where that takes you on your pursuit of pleasure. They're definitely saying it has to do with growth, but growth from the heart and soul. They're pointing things out to me about karmic debt and community, and making sure that you have the right people in the community that are supporting the goals, the ambitions, the hopes, the dreams that you're going after. But there is definitely karmic lessons and healing that is happening, which will work towards that pursuit of pleasure and, again, that energy of Regulus and the lion heart that's in service, and how that all is playing out. Some of it is learning about some of your own self-deception. Is there anything else? Usually when they start slowing down, what they're telling me is when I start asking if there's anything else. And obviously I'm getting a lot of Mars energy, a lot of Moon energy, and a whole ton of Mercury energy. But with that coming together, the way they're giving it to me is, I see that is partially the sacral chakra, Mars energy. It's your passion, your action, your aggression, your fire, your inner warrior, your inner confidence. But it's speaking with Mercury about judgment. Some is self-judgment, some is family judgment. But Mercury's in retrograde, so that makes all of this judgment, passion, action, aggression, that you're trying to make decisions on, coming from a subconscious energy. Because they're giving me the moon. The moon is our depths, our emotions. But it also is, our unconscious, our subconscious, the darker sides of us. There's the sun and then there's the moon. This is the parts that we keep hidden away. And we're starting to bring them to light and really acknowledge them and what needs to change. This is not a time to hide from yourself. Mercury retrograde a lot of times has a lot to do with, reevaluating things, and that part is still true. But this is not a redo time. This is also not a hide away from yourself time. This is definitely a facing your inner demons time. Your inner self-deception in some form. So that you can make the proper changes. Get back on, the lion heart with service. And find out how that also works with your pursuit of pleasure. Anything else? And they're saying watch your hidden self with your larger groups, like the larger communities, the memberships. This is saying don't play off of the part that they want you to be. Be you. Pay attention to where you're reconnecting to society and not connecting to you, not connecting to the truths of you, your hidden self. You're keeping it hidden. You know, pay attention to where you're truly not bringing that out into the membership, into the community, into those larger groups, because that's very important to make sure that you're getting on the right track of those people, places, and things that are going to help support those goals, dreams, and ambitions that you're desiring to make. But if you're staying in that hidden self personality, kind of standing back and not letting your true colors shine, then it will also kind of bite you in the butt. Make sure that those pieces of information that are important about your true self are coming forward. But remember, it is Mercury retrograde, so make sure that you are definitely dealing with the details and not leaving it out there willy-nilly for somebody to pick up the information the wrong way. So that you come into your self-realization. Are we done? Yeah, you're going over the same subjects again. Something about the pursuit of pleasure, the karmic lessons, the self-realization are going to help build the social foundation you're trying to create. And know that they are all key points. And then obviously watch that Universal 12th house where we have our secrets in the closet. All right, let me go into what is going on with the planets movement, and then we'll go into all of the houses, and I'm going to try to get it done in a half hour. If I talk too much, then there'll be a part 2, but I'm trying to get it done in a half hour for you. Okay, obviously we know we have Mercury in retrograde. It went in retrograde on October 31st in Scorpio. Now, it's going to stay in retrograde until November 20th. And it definitely has energies going on here. You have, on the 1st, Venus is moving into Sagittarius. On the 8th, Pallas is moving into Sagittarius, putting it closer to Ceres and to Jupiter. Yeah, Ceres and Jupiter. And both of them are about to leave Sagittarius, but Ceres will leave first. And this is definitely going to make major changes in Capricorn when both of them enter. But we'll start with Ceres entering this month as it enters Capricorn. On the 4th, you have Yura, which is sacrificing commitment, moving into Libra with Haumea and Make. On the 12th, you have the full moon in Taurus. This is speaking to our individuality. It's Uranus is there in retrograde, okay, and it's still there with Vista, even though they're on the opposite sides of the sign of the signs. And don't forget, Uranus is actually moving towards Medusa. So trouble, toil, and strife with independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom. Where are you holding on to resentment that you're still pointing fingers at other people for not being able to create your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem? That is what you'll be seeing at the full moon on the 12th. On the 16th/17th, and I say it that way because I don't have it marked down to the exact moment, so I can't tell you exactly which part, 16th or the 17th, which day it is. Ceres moves into Capricorn with Pluto and Saturn, making major changes start to come forward. And then when Jupiter comes in, even more. Ceres is our threefold theory. She is what's nurturing or what is neglecting. Now on the 19th, you have Mars moving into Scorpio. On the 20th, you have Mercury going direct. On the 22nd, you have the Sun moving into Sagittarius. On the 25th, Venus moves into Capricorn. Now, if you didn't catch that, on the very 1st of November, Venus moved into Sagittarius. On the 25th, she's moving into Capricorn. She's spending absolutely no time in Sagittarius. She's coming right in going, I like this. I don't like this. I love this. Oh, I hate this. This is wonderful. This makes me feel good. This makes me feel comfortable. This is full of resentment. This I hate. This is anger. This is frustration. She's sensitivity all the way around. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically. All of your four. Okay, and your 4 create your 1. Emotional, mental, spiritual, physical. Okay, so she's coming right in going, yes, yes, no, no, yes, no, yes. And then she's moving into Capricorn. And that is going to be some major energies that are going to bring up following next month's, in December's full moon. More or less is what I was just saying. For what I wasn't saying, Spirit was just saying. It's going to be bringing major growth forward that you'll be seeing as you enter December. On the 26th, you have the new moon. This is the second new moon in Scorpio. So we've had it at the end of October, and we're going to have it again at the end of September. Remember, this is coming off of a original full moon in Aries with Chiron, the wounded healer. So this isn't just brand new beginnings. This is really seriously releasing, surrendering, and letting go of some baggage shit that's been keeping you from ever getting right with self. That's why this energy has been so, intense. I mean, we are talking about Scorpio season, so what do you expect? Then on the 27th, you have Neptune, which is going direct. Now, Neptune is very powerful at this moment. Even though not as many people are speaking about it. You have Neptune sitting on top of Lilith. Okay? And, Neptune sitting on top of Lilith. And it's only got until the end of November to get out whatever messages it's been trying to teach you the whole time it's been in retrograde through your thick head. So the darker aspects of what you're not getting right is what Neptune's going to be going, yo. And Neptune is where magic is created. It is where fantasy smacks you in the face with harsh reality. It's where you have the confusion of illusion versus delusion. And being able to create healthy magic versus ill-willed magic. And it is definitely going to be speaking to you about that, along with that sacral chakra, along with that inner warrior, because it is Lilith and your inner femininity and being able to stand up in your power, stand in your fire, and burn for you. And where are you not creating that magic correctly? Plus, it's going to be speaking with Saturn for part of the month. So that is speaking to you right off the bat of rules, walls, and boundaries for what magic you are trying to create. Now, for you, if we start off, we're going to start off with your first house. That's your self. That's the house of self. Sorry. It's your self-awareness, your physical body, your personality, your appearance, your view of life, your ID, your image, your very core, and where you illuminate. Because it's your sun sign. Typically, it's your sun sign. But this could be a moon or rising sign as well. But that is the universal first house for Aries. Now, Chiron has still just recently entered Aries. So this means right off the bat, you're starting a brand new cycle in general. In general, you're starting a brand new cycle, which Spirit is saying has everything to do with that pursuit of pleasure. But the responsibility is to yourself within that pursuit of pleasure. And not in a narcissistic way or a self-centered way, but in a self-loving way of understanding what this means. Because Aries is a brand new starting point. It's a fire sign. It's very, let me start something, but you also get burned out with boredom and you let it go. That's what Aries is. But with Chiron here, it's going, where have you not been able to get right with self? Where have you not been able to get right with that self-awareness, that personality that you truly have of bringing it forward. You know, your appearance, your view of life, the core of who and what you are. Where's that not illuminating and coming out right? Because Chiron's the wounded healer. So he's asking you, where are you having these problems? Problem is, at the end of Aries is also where you happen to have Eris, Medusa, is what I call her. And that's trouble, toil, strife, and injustice. So that is, where is in Aries, Chiron, the wounded healer, going, where are you still holding on to trouble, toil, strife, and injustice that's keeping you in resentment and being able to go, well, I'm just not able to be myself because of that. And I'm not able to move forward because of that. And I look at things shitty because of that. This is saying, where are you holding on to the resentment that's keeping you from illuminating yourself and shining right? Where are you holding on to that's dead? Where are you being, I call it vampire syndrome. Where are you still sucking on like a vampire, grabbed a hold of a body and is sucking the blood out of the body. But there's no blood left, and the vampire's still just sucking away and finally just throws the body down and wants a new one. I'm sorry to be twisted and sick, but you know, that's the way it is. And this is the way I see this energy, is where you just sucking on to something because it's there, but it's not good in any way, shape, or form. This is what you're acknowledging, this shifting going on in your very core, in your very personality, your appearance, your view of life, your self-awareness. You know, this is the energies that you're going through so that you can find the healing you need by acknowledging what you're holding on to that's not serving you in any way. And you're going to be noticing that all freaking year. I mean, for a couple of years until Chiron is moved out. So this is helping you release these energies for a while, at least until, not Chiron, but at least until Medusa and Eris moves out of Aries. So right now, these two energies are coming from two different aspects going, where can't you get right with yourself, and helping you to understand that. Now, your second house has Taurus, where that full moon is, which is just backing up everything that I'm saying. Because Taurus, the full moon takes place on the 12th. And this is where you're going to be inner battling with yourself, because your independence, your individuality, your uniqueness, your freedom, your self-worth, your self-value, your self-esteem are all in retrograde, going towards Medusa. So this is why I put it this way. That self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, that independence, individuality, creative self, all of these are part of that awareness that creates self-worth, self-value, and self-esteem. But Uranus is in retrograde going towards Medusa, going, where am I holding on to, where I'm blaming instead of letting go and healing? Because she holds on to resentment. That's why she's trouble, toil, and strife. She holds on to the injustice that was served. But if you keep holding on to all the injustice that was served, then you're going to keep looking back instead of looking forward. And this is about putting that down, vampire, dropping the body and moving forward. Moving forward. It's not being a vampire anymore, not sucking on the dead anymore, not sucking dead energy out anymore. And starting to acknowledge for yourself where you're standing in your own way of your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, your independence, your individuality, uniqueness, freedom, your inventive self. Where is your own shock and awe? Where are you too afraid to bring your own shock and awe about yourself up to the surface? Where are you still putting that in denial? Where are you afraid to let the world see the truth because you've been hurt? This is about saying I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to let my independence, my individuality, my uniqueness, my freedom, my self-worth, my self-value, and self-esteem be put on the back burner because of you or you or you. I'm taking control. I'm taking the reins. I'm taking the bull by the horns, and I'm taking back my control. That is what your full moon is about for you at this time. And learning how to move forward and reclaim that power. As you come in to the third house, you don't have anything special going on here. However, just because you don't have anything special going on here doesn't mean a whole bunch of shit. The reason I say that is the third house is your communication zone. It is where the intellect, the details, the trivia, the phone calls, the gossip, the text messages, even your delivery systems, your small bits of information that are important come through. It's Mercury retrograde, remember? Mercury still rules that third house. So even though it's not in that third house, that means you have it going on in two places. Okay, you'll have it going on in your 8th house, and you'll have it going on in your 3rd house. So this is saying you're very communication. Make sure you're getting right with the details, because Mercury is in retrograde. It may not be in the 3rd house to actually influence it, but it runs the 3rd house no matter where it is. So Mercury's communication is definitely going through, and I do want to say a little bit of a darker aspect, depending on where you are and depending on what kind of healing you've gone through, how much Spirit says, how truly in depth and honest you are with your self-realization will depend on how dark this Mercury retrograde will be in Scorpio. Because if you're in denial about your own reincarnation, your own rebirthing, your own rejuvenation of your soulfulness, then this will be harder. But if you're coming into honoring your truth, more of this, then it won't be quite as hard. But you will still deal with some of those darker aspects, because Venus is still going to be, in that area, and then Mars is coming in for a Scorpio energy. But like I said, it still rules that 3rd house. So make sure that what you're speaking is what you really want to be speaking. Make sure that you are very clear with your details, and don't leave that willy-nilly, because it could go and backfire against you. Just because there's not any planets there does not mean anything. It's ruled by Mercury. Now, your 4th house has the North Node in it still. And this is saying, period, you're learning how to get right with self. You're learning how to find your inner emotional security. You're learning how to reincarnate yourself by understanding where you've stepped in your own way, by blaming, by continuing to hold blame instead of holding a responsibility for your own self-worth, self-value, and self-esteem. Because it might have got kicked around in the independence, individuality, uniqueness, and freedom. But that's, as we call, it's like I say, the home of you can never be taken away. The vessel, the soul, the power from within can never be taken away. Unless you've accidentally given it away and misplaced it, mishonored it, misunderstood it. And then it's time for you to go get it and bring it back, because it was yours. Period. The 4th house is about you understanding how to get right with your self-awareness, your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom, inventive self, creative self. Getting right with all levels of you on a new alpha level. And then within that, recreating inner emotional security. By understanding the roots of who and what you are, what you've had to heal, and what your true, real self is. You're starting to see this more, because the North Node will not allow you to take any less. And it's pushing on those other houses' energies to make sure it got through your head. because that's what the North Node is. The North Node's only real responsibility is to go, you must learn this in order to move forward. So it's coming into a true new level of self-love that has nothing to do with being narcissistic or self-centered, but it has to do with loving yourself enough to know when it's right to love yourself and not let yourself be put to the side on the back burner, to accept that. As you move into the 5th house, the 5th house doesn't have anything really going on here either. Other than, let me help you to understand, Leo has 2 guardians of the pole in it. So your 5th house is extra power, extra powered, extra fire. Because the guardians of the pole carry the energy of the sun, Saturn, and Venus. Plus, it's already ruled by the sun. Leo is. So this is saying double illumination, double core, double shine. Double ego as well. But it's also saying double sensitivity and double rules, laws, and boundaries. So this is asking you, in that pursuit of pleasure, where are you not doubling down? Where are you not doubling down on yourself? Where are you not taking the time to get right with your own enjoyment of life? If you can't figure out what makes you tick and bring enjoyment to your life, then you're never going to find your true pursuit of pleasure. This is where your inner child wants to play. What is it that you enjoy doing? Are you taking time for enjoying doing what you like to do? Because that supports your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. That supports your inner emotional security. So are you doubling down on you? Are you doubling down on what everybody else wants you to do? That is your key, and that's never going to change. And this energy is always going to be there to help you. It's just when the other planets come in, it will be influencing it in other directions as well. But that is the energy of that 5th house for you all the time. Where's your fire? And are you giving air to the fire to breathe so that your child can grow, your inner child can grow and strengthen your pursuit of pleasure, your fun, your playtime? Because without playtime, you're out of balance anyway. Now, the 6th house is what Spirit was talking to me about. This is Regulus, where Regulus is recently moved in, and it will be here for like 77 years. Okay, so you're not ever going to see this energy change. Again, other than we're learning how to adapt to the change that's happened. Regulus recently moved in to Virgo. We're coming into understanding that's the heart of the lion, the service of the lion. That is where the nobility comes in. And I can't say enough that being noble has nothing to do with being born to money. Being noble has nothing to do with being born to a position. Nobility has to do with knowing how to do the right thing at the right time and make the hard fucking calls that have to be made. This is talking about your everyday daily tasks for you, because this energy has now changed the way we view Virgo. Virgo is very anal retentive and detail oriented. I call her the virgin. She can't not do it right. You know how we like to go from A, B, C, we skip C and want to skip B and want to go just to C. She doesn't know how. But now, all of a sudden, where she was detail-oriented, she now is detail-oriented and strives for soulfulness within the daily tasks, your daily mundane tasks, your daily routines. This is the energy that you consume by people, places, and things in your daily routines. Do they serve you or do they not? Do they soulfully serve you or not? Because if not, it's time to change those routines. I am sorry, I'm going to have to come back for part 2 because I'm at 30 minutes, but I will be doing the second half of the chart from part 2 on out. I love you guys. Bye.